Well, hey guys, it's Dr. Drake 63 here again today, and got another unboxing video for you. Today we're going to look at a Henry lever action. You probably figured that out just from looking at the box, but which one? A lot of you guys have seen my videos about me having issues troubleshooting this old discontinued model of a Marlin, and I was thinking to myself, gosh, I've been really wanting to get this 22 working, but I'm tired of the semi-autos. I've had plenty of them. So what are we going to do? Did I get the Golden Boy? What did I get? Well, no. I got the Henry Carbine in 22. The big loop lever. So we're going to talk about this a little bit and shoot this today. But as usual with Henry, you can expect beautiful workmanship. Love this stock. It's got that old Winchester type of configuration. Love that big loop. And really, for a 22, love this carbine length barrel, which is when I first saw this in the store, I thought, well, this is a youth rifle, but length of pull it sure isn't. And didn't really know a lot about this particular one. I know a lot of guys that own the Golden Boy and so forth and so on. But if you take a quick look at this, you'll see that this is a tubular fed magazine. It will hold 12 rounds of 22 long rifle, and I'm not sure how many of the shorts. But it's got that nice hooded front sight. A lot of the 22 bolts I was looking at, because I was just going to have nothing to do with a semi-auto. I've been down that road too many times. They're all a little bit finicky. But was looking at this particular one, and all the bolt actions that I looked at, a lot of the newer higher end ones don't even offer iron sights on them, which I think is crazy. But that's the direction that stuff is going. But as you can see, that attention to detail on a nice wood stock that was so prevalent in the firearms world back in the 50s when this guy was made, with folks at Henry still very much alive today. So this is a carbon steel barrel. It's not octagonal. It's carbon steel. And in addition to that, it's got an aluminum receiver, and probably would be an issue for me on some firearms. On a 22, no. I want to show you too here. This was the only model they had. This is their floor model, and I picked this up at the rebirth of Gander Mountain, which is Gander Outdoors, and nothing that, especially on aluminum, nothing that can't be fixed with something like that. But anyway, I did ask those guys if they would kindly knock some off of their price. I've seen this anywhere from $310 to mid threes. They had a pretty good price at $305 to begin with, and came down to $280 for me asking. So I gotta like that. The other thing I like is I know this lever hasn't been worked a lot, the trigger hasn't been shot a lot, because they don't let people work the actions on these. They've got them tied down. So real nice looking rifle, very handy. Let's do some comparisons. Now, as I mentioned, this has a length of pull, which is adult length, which you see right here. But where the differences really start are in the barrel length. This one just keeps going. And, you know, with a 22, there's no real advantage to that other than you do have a longer sight radius on this firearm than you do on this one. But I doubt if at the distances I shoot that's going to be too big a deal. Now this one does have the ability to clamp a scope up on top of that rail. It's not really a rail, but it's just an area where you can attach a scope. I don't shoot something like that scoped, and certainly wouldn't a 22, but let's just take a look at this. Attention, like I said, attention to detail and the quality. And there's your model number, H001L. And as I mentioned, it is a carbine. Here's where you feed your ammo with the magazine loading tube.
How many bullets can you put in?
I think it's like 12 or 14. You kind of won't be able to when it's done. Did you get them all loaded? And you got that turned over? Okay.
Yep.
Well, let's stand back and watch them shoot. So you'll have to cycle your first one. You got it.
Yep.
Thoughts?
I like it.
It's pretty smooth, isn't it?
Yeah.
That action's real easy to work. Okay, why don't you show Nico how to load that up real quick.
At a time. It's 3, 4, 5.
It'll let you know when you can't do anymore because it'll be at the top.
Let me go see what I got.
Even though the tube feeding seems like it can be a little bit cumbersome, I have to be honest with you. I'm tired of magazines. I've got magazines for my Glocks, magazines for 1911s. I've got magazines for ARs. Right? I've had countless magazines for different types of AKs, you name it. And it just is time sometimes to just get down to the simple basics in life. And a tube-fed magazine is good. I like the side loading gates on the larger calibers. I won't lie about that, but definitely tired of magazines. This is really nice. You don't have that extra expense, compatibility issues, or something else typically that can go wrong. I've never had anything go wrong with a tube loader. You've got to close the lever all the way or it won't fire. This young man has no prior experience with lever action, so we were dealing a little bit with just some education in terms of getting the full cycle in. The only time we had some issues was a couple times we short stroked the lever and had to unjam a couple rounds.
Not the best shot in the world.
Well, you need practice. All right. How do you say "my turn to shoot" in Italian?
È il mio turno.
Say again?
È il mio turno per sparare.
All right. I hope you didn't say something like you were a dumbass in Italian. I'm going to find out later, buddy.
I didn't say what.
There we go. Start. Going?
Mm-hmm.
No problem with accuracy. Taken from the back of the truck. We're probably about 70 yards away, open sights. The smoothness of the lever action is just incredible on this, and it really got smoother as we shot it, and just amazing how dependable, how smooth this action works in conjunction with just how accurate this rifle is, especially with a short sight radius. We all shot it very well, and I was very impressed with it, very impressed. You see on below is the Henry 22 carbine. On top is the Uberti 1873, basically Winchester clone. And, hey, on top you're looking at a rifle with color case hardening and a lot of craftsmanship, heavy octagonal barrel, so forth. It's $1,100, $1,200 affair. This particular one's chambered in 357. But below it, looking at something that costs significantly less, you've also got some beautiful wood with the Henry. Not as quite the sheen or finish, but the attention to detail, the quality of how this rifle was put together, as I've said several times in this video already, is impressive. And I just love looking at old school guns like this. I can't be more pleased than when I'm looking at stuff like this, or old revolvers, or even new revolvers, things like that. So as much as I like the modern tactical stuff, I do like the traditional designs as well. There's certainly a place for them in my gun safe at all times, and I think that a lot of you that watch my videos probably feel the same way. Now, one thing I really like about this is just how handy this is, size-wise. It's just so easy to carry with one hand. It balances perfectly. The thought of putting this in a scabbard, not a problem at all. But just so easy to move around. You could see going in the brush if you're, like I said, doing some squirrel hunting or whatever. And the ability to aim this thing is very good. I was very surprised at how completely accurate it was when comparing it to longer barreled 22 long rifles. Completely accurate with open sights, basically hitting targets that are the size of playing cards beyond 50 yards, and I wasn't the only one doing it. Here's an 1873 Winchester, very nice replica from Uberti that you've seen, and this has got a 20-inch barrel, and it's got the octagonal barrel and so forth and so on. But to compare the workmanship on something like this guy can hold its own is amazing. No, it doesn't have a color case hardened receiver. It's got an aluminum receiver that's painted black, which obviously in terms of accuracy, in terms of durability, not an issue. And the nicest part about it is if you do end up having some kind of a blemish on it, something like that, if you beat it up, it's aluminum. You don't have to worry about it rusting, and you can always come back and just repaint it. How hard is that? I think we put something in the magnitude of 300 rounds through this today. And we had 2 hiccups, and it didn't happen while I was shooting it, but I do know that we had a little bit of a tendency to short stroke with some inexperienced lever gun guys. Once we got that addressed, we didn't have repeats of that situation. So overall, extremely impressed. I think this has got workmanship and functionality that is worthy of a rifle that costs a lot more, maybe twice as much more. And the best part about it is it's got that durability thing going for it. Easily fits under the back seat of my truck. And like I said, want to take this with you anywhere for just plinking, varmints, or whatever. I'm always meaning to get out and shoot rabbits, but never seem to have the time or see the rabbits at the same time. But just for general plinking and having fun, I don't think you're going to beat this firearm. So good job, Henry. I couldn't be more impressed, and we'll keep you posted. A couple other features I really like about this gun. Number one, it does not have a safety. And when I say not a safety, it doesn't have like a crossbar safety or anything like that. What it's got is a half-cock safety, okay? So, you know, like any good lever action, you've got to be at full cock in order to pull the trigger and set off your charge. But this one has a half-cock safety. So this is with your hammer closed. That's your half-cock safety. You can pull the trigger on this all day. Nothing's going to happen. The gun can be chambered. You can carry it like this. You don't have to worry about the trigger. You've got to pull your hammer all the way back in order to engage ignition. So I like that a lot. I also just like the fact that this doesn't have anything, you know, written on it about read instruction manual before use. I don't see that anywhere. And I'm glad to see some of the better firearms companies are starting to get away from that, letting lawyers run the show. But this functioned incredible for us today. Got home, lubed it up a little bit, just a little bit of CLP on the action. Took a bore snake down the chamber, and you know, that's all she's going to get for now. But great gun.